Hello everybody, welcome back to the Utterly Pointless channel. This is probably redo number 10 for the relic section of the team upgrade tutorial that I've been doing. So it's gone on as far as 45 minutes, so I'm just going to cut to the chase. I've taken notes, and what I'm doing is just ranking the synergy of the relic with the team's purpose. So I'm going to start low and just go to the most awesome relic setup that I've got here. So I will be starting with relic number 3, which is Bloodseeker for the Carrion Cockatrice. There's not much of a tie-in with anything going on that the creature does except for life orbs. So this is a quick description of what Bloodseeker does. It heals the bearer after any kind of damage is dealt with an attack or spell. Actually, that does work pretty nicely with Corpse Explosion, because that's just massive damage affecting all the survivors. Again, sometimes Healing Breath might take out a lot of creatures early, so it does get reduced a little bit, but it is a bit of healing to keep the Carrion Cockatrice in play. So that is actually the second effect that does tie in. And then very minor damage here. I don't think there's even anything except for vacuum. So after the bearer attacks or casts vacuum on an enemy, this relic does get an attack in. So it's really minor. Shadowbringer does not have any creature enhancement that's worth speaking of. So it just focuses on turning Blighted into a mega ailment that finishes you off quickly. So it does give the bearer leeching all the time. So again, Shadowbringer's attack enhancement is nil or minimal, so just a nice thing to have independently. But when the bearer is healed, it gains max health equal to 3% of the amount healed. And then after the bearer gains max health, your other creatures gain max health equal to 50% of this amount. So leeching is a nice way for it to get max health, but Healing Breath from this guy is awesome because this is going to heal a creature for 150% of its health. So right now it's at 313,000, so that would put it over 450,000 worth of healing. So 1% of that would be over 4.5k. So multiply that by 3% with the relic causing a gain of 3% max health. So that would be 12,000, 13,500, I think, max health gain, and then other creatures will gain max health equal to 50% of this amount. And then the creature's max health will be going up, so whatever it gains as future max health just starts compounding. So just a nice way to get dug in a little bit through combat. Usually you don't have to do that much. This is really the most aggressive build that I've got. Again, killing enemies for well over 100% of health every turn, just one at a time. So, and that's for every enemy creature's turn. So, just a really beautiful, high-powered, crushing sort of an offensive strategy with Shadowbringer. So, let's see. And then there's residual healing here with Mending that does turn into little life boosts for every other creature on your side. And then there's a doubling here of the amount of max health gained from stat increasing effects, so that makes it 6%. And then with all the cumulative life gains, that would make it effectively more than 6%. So, and then the last thing is an offensive boost, and this makes the potency of the bearer's spells equal to 50% of max health rather than intelligence. So as this creature mends a little bit, or especially gets healing breath on it at random, that makes it a little bit deadlier each time. I'm not sure the effect is going to be really that significant, with corpse explosion being far inferior to the amount of damage that comes from healing breath, but still just a way to clamp down on the enemy and make sure that it doesn't survive too long. So the great thing about the Ascended Shadowbringer build is that, oops, wait a minute, oh, I'm on Pariah, whoops. Let me swap that out too to demonstrate. But so, spoiler alert, this is the Endwalker. So the goal in this is to just disable any creatures that are at the top of the timeline or getting there, just by knocking them down with Asskicker and using things like dense fog and the like. So this is the ultimate disabler of the enemy, and that is Endwalker, which just keeps an enemy from resurrecting after dying from Blighted, which it will always have unless it's got some really rare immunities, but I'd say about maybe 96% of enemies plus just won't be able to resist Blighted in the form it is. So that is pretty sweet setup offensively. So and then let's see, okay, so that's the first relic to discuss. The second one would be, and believe me, I'm going a lot faster than my past few drafts anyway, that would be the Bramble Skin relic for the Unicorn Vivifier. And so, excuse me, it's reactionary. The relic will attack on damage to the bearer. It will, alongside its bearer, deal additional damage with attacks and spells equal to 10% of the damage that the bearer has taken in the current battle. So nothing really on the creature's traits right there, and there's no spell that does any damage to enemies. So this would just be through attacks, but this creature does have reinvigoration, so there is an encouragement for it to attack anyhow. So there is also health recovery at rank 30, and so that is equal to 50% of the amount of damage taken. A nice sort of shield anyway, custom to this relic. And the one offensive thing that I like about this is I just realized that there is the rank 20 bonus on this, and this is kind of hidden and unique to this creature, but you can get spell gems or rather netherstone traits that do work with provoke here. So the way I have it set up, the unicorn at the end of its turn will provoke and gain 10% current and max health. And the thing is that the artifact does have this sneaky little thing here at the very end, crushing impact, excuse me, on provoke. So, pardon me. So with crushing impact being enhanced by the relic here, equal to 10% of damage that the bearer's taken, that can be doubled because the enemy will take 2 attacks actually from crushing impact if it's in the middle and both pardon me, and both enemies are still alive on either side of it, because they'll essentially attack the central enemy, or in the case of this targeting, a side enemy in the corners, upper right, upper left, lower right, lower left enemy, then the center enemy will be the only thing to attack it. But still, there will be that damage bonus according to the amount of damage that the unicorn has taken. So kind of a nice little perk to have there. And then there's 20% more max health gained from stat boosting effects. So the Carrion Cockatrice here, with its Bloodseeker relic, will actually tie in some of its health gains a little bit better as a result of rank 50, more max health from stat boosting effects. So nice thing to have. And then at rank 60, the bearer takes 3% less damage for each time it's been damaged in the current battle. So while some of these effects are helpful in being able to deal more damage, it does get carefully reduced and balanced out, so that way you're not just some kind of damage magnet. Again, it is reducing the amount of damage as battle goes on. So the goal is to just have survivors just sitting here as Healing Breath just wallops the absolute hell out of enemies each as they take their turn. So that's a fairly good setup. Again, the second most interesting that I've seen here. Asskicker is the next one, where what this does is it does cleanup and suppression for any surviving creatures that have made it through taking their first turn and getting hit with damage equal to their max health plus more in healing. So and then ultimately blighted. So for those creatures that somehow are clinging on with a sliver of health, or maybe due to immunity to blighted, which is rare, this will have a 15% chance to knock enemies down to the bottom of the timeline. Any creatures attacked on the bottom of the timeline take 50% more damage. And then you get a free attack from the relic, attacking the bottommost enemy on the timeline. Rank 40 gives 20% speed bonus, either after one of these relic attacks or a bearer attack. So these are sweet little speed boosts here to help this happen more and help the bearer to clean up any remaining residual enemies. So usually about 2 to 3 are left over at most after that first burst of blighted damage. So in addition, there's rank 50, where after the bearer attacks, then the relic attacks the same target. And again, if something has been knocked down to the bottom of the timeline, for example, due to these attacks, this just makes it all the sweeter. So there's an 8% speed bonus that I've gotten so far on this. Rank 60 is just a nice bit of freedom of movement for the creature, no snared. It can still fall asleep, but nice way to avoid some of the nastier effects that do happen when snared is applied. So ranked 70 as speed compounds, this will add a nice amount of damage to attacks and spells, and then there are additional attacks at rank 80 for each enemy between the bearer and its target. This is the one part that is slightly incompatible with Shadowbringer, because Shadowbringer will kill about half the enemies as they take their first turns, and then there will be a few survivors. So with all those enemies eliminated, your creature here, the clawing cockatrice, in this case will not be able to deal 5 attacks or 6 attacks like it usually would at the start of battle. Shadowbringer again will be just clearing the battlefield quite a bit, so there isn't really that much to do with these attacks except try to get 1 to 2 enemies down to the bottom of the timeline along with any other enemy. So with that being said, there is kind of a little bit of inefficiency in regard to this, because Asskicker is just meant to attack a lot of creatures at the beginning. So anyway, I would rank that 3 out of 6, with the next best artifact being, let's see, Friedens, and that would kind of be an independent sort of relic, and pertaining to the general purpose of Shadowbringer. So instead of Asskicker being hobbled by Shadowbringer and taking out its targets, what this does with Temptation is it makes the chance of hitting an extra target and neutralizing more creatures better, because as you've got 2 or 3 creatures taken out, the rank 50 chance to repeatedly attack creatures winds up having a greater chance of attacking every remaining creature. So starting at rank 10, when the bearer attacks an enemy, the enemy attacks itself. At rank 20, the relic will attack as well. As an enemy casts a healing spell, it'll cast it on the bearer as well. Not much focus there, because it really doesn't matter what the enemy does regarding healing. We got healing breath here, and due to torn between Scylla and Charybdis, when the Sapphire Drake dies, possibly through just bad luck, and I did have Desperate Sacrifice in here just to kind of give everything its healing, but as I was saying, anytime anytime that the enemy does cast a healing spell, it carries over to the bearer as well. Again, it's just peripheral. There's not going to be much incentive for an enemy to try to heal itself, and I don't know what the AI would really make it do in the case that the creature would see that it was blighted. I don't know if that is the case. I don't really see any stupid healing that enemies try to do. once they do get blighted. So I would say it's a fairly smart system anyway. That does kind of make this rank 30 attribute of temptation kind of moot. So rank 40 though is what I've found to be excellent in getting further corpse explosions and so on to have full effect, and that's where after the relic or bearer attack an enemy, takes away the enemy's defending status, and then rank 50 again does give a 50% chance to attack an additional enemy. So if you can get down to 2 or 3 enemies, you really do want to try to hopefully reach all 3 of those enemies and get any defending statuses out. It may not happen with a 50% chance and then another 50% chance, but always helpful. And anything that does get defending off for one of these first creatures can usually end up in lethal damage and subsequent corpse explosion. So not a big game ender if you don't get 2 or 3 attacks in. 1 is just nice and effective on a pretty good scale. So rank 60 will also give the relic and its bearer 30% more damage with attacks. I would say that Fryden's ultimate spell is ultimate garbage. I don't know why. I do have his intelligence boosted up here, but he just cannot deal any kind of damage with Ghostly Scimitar. It just sucks. So using the relic to get his attacks up is pretty much all I can really hope for. And I do have attack down, so it's something that I'm not really worried about, because again, just every single enemy is going to be knocking itself down using healing breath on itself or an ally, and just completely destroying them, or itself. So again, healing breath does a massive amount of blighted damage in this build. So that is what we're all waiting for. So again, this is all peripheral stuff, where the primary thing that I'm hoping for temptation to do is remove defending status. Anything else, yeah. So that is that is spot number 3 for relics, and then that is relic number 4 out of 6, and then number 5, the Sapphire Drake. The purpose of this team is to just have the Drake use surprise, start at the top of the timeline, use improbable catapult at the start of its turn, and then give healing breath. So blighted is just going to fry everything, because enemies are always going to have blighted. Enemies are going to take 100% more damage from blighted, and let's see. I'm just looking for anything really significant that also does help destroy enemies, but those two, I would say, yes, they are aided by fall from grace. So yeah, there is increasing healing from healing breath that you can see here. So every time that happens, every time that healing breath does happen, fall from grace will accelerate that healing by 5%. So, and again, Endwalker, the ultimate end for even false gods, I believe. I may be wrong, but so the reason I'm saying there's not too much else enhancing this damage from Shadowbringer, from the main cause, and that would be healing breath. Healing breath isn't a spell, it's a trait, so this kind of doesn't help. After attacking, yes, our enemies might be, or excuse me, allies might be able to cast minor healing, or major healing on the target, and then and then any creatures that I've got with blighted ignore the effects of this debuff and deal 50% more damage. So I don't cast any kind of blighted on my creatures. So again, with Fryden, the role of that relic is to help pick off stragglers. And going back to the Sapphire Drake and its relic, that's 5740 NG. This is a relic that is just made to help the Sapphire Drake hang on as that massive amount of Shadowbringer damage goes through. So there's just a little cheesy attack if the bearer didn't take any damage. After the relic attacks, the bearer does get 10% defense, so that sometimes winds up snowballing when the Drake doesn't take any damage due to higher defense. There's more defense gained as well, and max health, so that works well with Bloodseeker, as health is gained from Life Orb being cast on the Carrion Cockatrice. So also at rank 40, there's less indirect damage. At rank 60, or rather rank 70, 30% less damage from attacks and spells to go with that. And then after the relic attacks, the bearer also gains max health. So again, this is just a really good relic for something that just drops off its nasty healing breath trait onto every enemy. And then while we're waiting for this to happen, just sits back, and there's plenty of healing here due to Archangel's Blessing, which is 30% health, and there's also Life Orb, which is generous. So there's not going to be any real kind of lack of healing here. So that will be pretty much all that this artifact does is, or relic does, is protect the Sapphire Drake until the battle is won automatically, with each enemy just getting whomped on its turn from healing breaths. So after the relic does attack at rank 50 again, 10% max health, and then rank 60 and 80, at the end of each enemy's turn, there is a 20% chance to cast Stone Skin, so a further defense gain. And then at the end of each ally's turn, 20% chance to cast Iron Skin, and I believe that's a max health gain. Let me just double check. Let's see. So yeah, one is a defense gain. I think that's Stone Skin, but let me check. Okay, it's vice versa. So Stone Skin does gain a good amount of max health, and then that is increased by the bonus that the Sapphire Drake has, thanks to its relics. So right at rank 30, whatever skin spell is cast, that is 15% extra boost. So as you can see, the Drake also can't lose those stats. So basically the the vibe for the Sapphire Drake is to just sit and chill and cast its spell gems. So ooh, nice. So anyway, Archangel's Blessing, mass health gain, which comes back as minor max health gain, going through the Carrion Cockatrice and Bloodseeker. So that will radiate back here a little bit, and then Chaos Rift is just it's supplemental, so just an independent thing to go along with all that life gain. And as I've mentioned before, any kind of trait gain is welcome, even if it winds up being one of those awful fairy or fey traits or Cerberus traits where your creature can't attack or cast spells or what have you. It doesn't matter. You're just gaining good traits eventually, and that just winds up turning into additional damage done. Just one of those traits. That's how throw stuff at the wall and see if it sticks. Chaos Rift is in this team, and I've got it as a generous spell. So again, it really is just a matter of digging in and not even reacting to the enemy, barely even hitting them. You're just watching the apocalypse happen. So this is just a comfortable set of ways to do it, and then Life Orb again will bring max health back to the Sapphire Drake and everybody else, because the Carrion Cockatrice here will be sending that back. So that is the Sapphire Drake, and the most awesome combo that I've seen here for the entire team would be Vitreous, and this is vicious. I love the way this combo of traits and Vitreous works out. So as you can see, there's odd one, okay, big deal, so what? That just increases other effects which we don't even have pertaining to the number of cockatrices or other creatures that you have for a certain trait, spell, other effect. So not even in use. Moving on to trait 2 though, Pacing Death's Trail. Epic, because after an ally dies, this creature will attack 4 random enemies, and then with quad hits, when this creature will attack, it will instead attack a total of 4 times for 30% normal damage. Starts at 30% normal damage. There will be a 10% chance to kill the target each time that it deals critical damage, which is an if and then a smaller if. So it's kind of like, all right, great, that's kind of good, I guess. But I also have Sting Martyr, so 125% extra damage with attacks, and there is a loss of max health. But also there's Haunt, 75% more damage, and it afflicts targets with feared, so they can't gain any buffs. Very nice there. And then Vitreous just throws all inconvenience out the window here, because after the bearer attacks, the relic will attack as well, even just at rank 10. So rank 20 is even better. The bearer will deal 5% more damage with attacks for each time it has attacked in the current battle. So just put 4 attacks together, and then there's a nice series of boosts there. And then rank 30, 10% more stats from all sources for each time the relic has attacked in the current battle. And that is where rank 40 steps in with 3% more attack for each time that the relic and bearer, the relic and bearer each have 3% more attack for each time that, the creature and its relic have attacked in the current battle. So your relic is enhancing your stats as well. So this is really beautiful, because when you're just doing a normal attack, that is 4 attacks right from the bearer, right from the relic. and then that means a grand total of 3% more attack each time, except there's a 10% boost right there, and then things will just keep compounding, especially with pacing death's trail. When an enemy, when an ally dies, that will be a pretty good series of attacks. That will be 4 attacks from the cockatrice to start with, and then quad hits, I believe, turns that into 16 attacks, and then with 16 attacks, that the relic will also match that with 16 more attacks. So every time that your relic and the bearer do attack, there's your attack bonus right at rank 40. And then there's 5% more damage dealt with attacks for each time that the relic has attacked in the current battle. So yeah, maybe I do want to get Frieden out and Vulcanar in here. Let me just take a look at rank 60. However, on its own, there is plenty of awesomeness here with rank 60, because if the bearer has attacked at least 5 times in the current battle, which is very easy to do when you got quad hits and you're attacking 4 times then, and especially with pacing death's trail, you get a whole bunch more attacks in. Not only will the bearer deal critical damage, but the relic will also deal critical damage every single time. With all these huge boosts from quad hits and pacing death's trail and the huge amounts of damage that you do, you also get the bonus of a flat 10% chance to outright kill an enemy, instead of, every time that you have the chance of doing a critical attack. Like, let's say, your crit rate is a good 29% or whatever, that still boils down to a 2.9% chance to kill something, instead of a flat 10%, because it's damped down by your crit rate. So with your crit rate at 100%, there's your 10%, a flat 10% each time to kill an enemy. And when you're attacking 4 times or 16 times, I mean, something has got to give, usually pretty easily. That will result in a corpse explosion happening quite a bit, and possibly more higgledy-piggledy from other corpse explosions. So I didn't mean to stumble through that. So Vitreous is absolutely the best out of these 6 relics. So I think I really will get Vulcanar in. Want to see what he is fused with. So I think that's an Osane. So let me just see what the last thing is. So I'm going to see what the name of the relic is. Artifact here. So that's Cribdus, and I'm just going to take that off and get the spell gems off here as well. So that'll be Chaos Spheres, Devour, and Desperate Sacrifice. So, all right. And then, let's see. I hope I haven't been talking over a bunch of music. Good. Okay, so, yep, I will deposit Frieden, and hopefully I don't have, oh no, I've been kind of trying to look for him, and I haven't seen him. Oh, he is fused. Because I really don't want something like what's fused here, I want to get the asceticism, because when your creatures do come back under resurrection, I mean, they really do have that most critical role of hanging on, just to let blighted do some lethal damage. So this is going to end up in a little bit of a rabbit hole itself. I don't think I have a summon for Vulcanar just yet, so you can see how this is a bunch of random training here. I don't also think that I have Gate of the Gods key, so yeah, I've only got 7. So I will be leaving off here. I'll be doing a hunt for Vulcanar. But anyway, this is the review of the 6 relics that have been on this team and how they can benefit, or in some rare cases here, especially with Asskicker, not quite benefit as well as they should, and require themselves to be replaced. So this is also suggesting the replacement of a team member. So I'll see how things go, and see if overwhelming attack damage from Vitreous and Vulcanar is worth more than giving enemies mending and leeching all the time. So anyway, I hope this has been a fairly short tutorial here. I know I have expounded and rambled a bit more. This is my final recording for this, just because there is so much to go over, and I'm not going to fault myself for just going over the corollaries and the neat little sneaky combos that do tie into everything. So there we go.